Hi, how are you today? My name is Heather and this is Nerdy Crafts by Heather, and I was just going to do kind of an update on what I've been working on. I actually finished my biscornu. I tried to record a video on it, and because I'm not used to recording from the top down while I'm actually doing something, I was actually off camera like pretty much the entire time. So I did finish my biscornu. Here it is. And so this is my first finish of the year. You see where I stitched it together and everything. It's super cute, but I was stitching and it was like this. And when I went back to edit it, and I was like, oh, that won't work because you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna have to make another one to make a video tutorial, but I am very, very happy with how it turned out. I think it's super adorable. I love all the details with the back stitching. And I did a little button on the back of it, if it'll, it's trying to focus there. So I'm very happy with it. I do wish I could have gotten it recorded, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better. I also have put a lot of progress into my Stardew map. So I don't think I actually had anything stitched the last time that I recorded. I'm not sure if I did or not. But I was doing some really good progress, and I've been slacking a little bit lately. I've been busy playing like a lot of video games, so I haven't actually stitched much in the past like week or so. That's another reason why I've been kind of later in doing a video. I wanted to do a little bit more frequent updates, but I've been busy doing other things. So, but I'm really excited. I'm loving how you can see the little trees so far. Stitching all this blue was kind of exhausting, but you know, you just throw on something on the TV and just get to stitching and just know where you have to stop, and it kind of becomes mindless at that point, which is kind of nice. I normally don't like stitching the large blocks of color, but whenever you know, like, oh well, I need to stop, you know, this many rows up, you can just kind of do it without having to look at the pattern. So that was kind of nice, and I was actually able to like watch TV a little bit more. But this is, I mean, this one's gonna be massive. I think I'm like 2 or 3% done so far. So this is it's a pretty big stitch actually. I've been using a hoop. You can see the hoop marks because my fabric is a little bit smaller than I thought, and I can't actually really get the Q-snap over here and stitch on the edge. So I'm using a hoop and going all the way up on this edge, and then the rest of it I'll use the Q-snap until I get to this edge. Then I'll have to use the hoop again, but I'm gonna kind of do it in sections, kind of go up here and then here, and I've stitched kind of like zigzaggy in a way, so that way I don't get any lines. Sometimes whenever you stitch in boxes and stuff, you can actually like see that the tension is going different ways, and so I've heard a lot of people will stitch kind of like a zigzag, so that way whenever I start stitching this area and working my way up, it won't be one straight edge. So that's why I've stitched really weird down here. The colors don't break off like that, they keep going, but I didn't want to take a chance on any kind of weird tension issues and leaving lines and stuff. Okay, sorry about that, my dog was barking. So I've also stitched a little bit on the Haunted Library. I haven't done too much. I finished this little ghost guy and the book that he's coming out of, so hopefully I can start working on the stairs soon and everything gets working on this, because I really want to get this one finished, and I've been really like not making as much progress as I would like to make, so hopefully I'll get to working on that one soon. I have done a little bit on the Final Fantasy stitch, not as much as I would have liked. This stone right here, so this is the Sage job stone, and it is really hard to see up against the fabric, which is I figured once I started stitching the white it would pop a little bit more, but it's such a big job stone compared to the others, and it's so much white that it's kind of boring. I like stitching color, and I like, you know, changing it up and stuff. So this one I haven't worked on as much, but the full pattern is out now and I absolutely love it. And now I'm like, I want to get working on it, but I've been so busy playing video games. There's too many video games that are coming out around about this time that I've been wanting to play, and I haven't put as much time into the stitching as I would have liked. So I'm gonna have to get back on that. But one that I've done a lot of progress on since you guys last saw has been my dragon. So I've finished the wing up here. This is I think it's supposed to look like a shell or something made out of yarn. I started working on the tail. I've done a little bit down here, and this is another heart that will be made out of yarn, and I've started working on the tail down here. I guess that's probably more of the body itself. I also, which you'll notice on my starting map, I have been making grid lines, and I did it on that because I did miscount on, I think it was like part of this tan or something, and I fudged it. I was like, no one is ever going to know that like a couple squares are off. But I was like, I have this, I thought I had it laying here, but I must have moved it. I have one of the water soluble markers, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna, you know, do the lines on it so that way it's easier to match up with the pattern. And then I actually ended up doing that on this one as well, because I was trying to count down here to do the tail, and I was like really worried that I was going to miscount because this is on 28 count and I'm still not used to counting 2 squares instead of 1. So I used that, and hopefully it's come out really well on other fabrics that I've used, so I'm hoping that it'll come out well in this one as well, which a lot of this area should be stitched too, so it won't be noticeable if it does kind of stain a little bit, but I've never had any issues with it, so hopefully it'll be good. But I have made a lot of progress on this one, and I'm really excited. I did find that I was actually missing a couple colors for this one, which led me into this whole organization of my floss, because my floss was a mess. And so I reorganized all of it, and I got this new container. If you hold on a second, I will show you. So I use these boxes to organize my thread, and which you can see some of the colors are missing because I'm using them right now, but I keep them stored up like this. And I have these cute little stickers. I use plastic bobbins, and I have these stickers that help, which I don't know if it's showing like backwards to you guys or not, sorry if it is. But I got these stickers on Etsy. They are by Siri. I don't know how you actually pronounce her full name, but she has these stickers. I will put the information down below in the description, and I've actually used a lot of them. A lot of these are still blank sheets, a lot of them, which has helped me realize that the colors that I am missing, and I actually have them here. I got them from 123Stitch, so I do have them. I just haven't bobbined them yet because I get really tired of bobbing. I have, with that bag, I should have one of every like basic color. I should, as long as I haven't missed anything, which is, it's a lot of colors. I think I have 4 or 5 boxes of these. I'm not entirely sure. Some of them are in my living room right now where I've been organizing them. This has been a long time coming. I believe I mentioned it in the other video before that my mom got me into cross-stitching, and she's no longer cross-stitching, so she gave me all of her colors, which she had slowly accumulated over the years. I believe some other colors I have gotten at yard sales. I have one of my mom's friends was into cross-stitching, and I think she stopped or something, and she gave me some of her colors. There's been a lot of these gifted to me, so I have not bought a lot of these. So a lot of them are old, probably not. You can definitely tell a difference when you're using an older floss compared to one of the newer flosses. The newer ones, they separate easier and stuff. But I'm not gonna waste it, you know. Like, why? As long as it still works good and isn't breaking, like, I'm still gonna use it. And I also got this. This is actually like a photo organizer, and I got it off of Amazon. And what I have done is each one, I've numbered it. So this is from 1 to the 200s, and I have basically put any extra flosses that I have, because some of them, like this one is kind of small, but this one, the 300s, like I have a lot of extra floss. There's a lot of 304 for some reason. I have 7 skeins of 304. Not quite sure why I have that many, but I've also put an index card in here and listed all the colors that are inside of here, and when I take one out I will mark it off and stuff. I haven't done that yet on any of them, but this has helped me stay a lot more organized. And I have one for just my white and blacks and the ecrus, and then I have one that's got some extra variegated colors and some of the light effects, and just kind of like specialty threads. I think I have some of the glow-in-the-dark green there. And I've got several that I don't actually have anything in yet. I don't know what I'm going to use those for, but this has helped tremendously, because I did just have these in a big Ziploc bag that I didn't really like how I would just keep shoving them in there, and so whenever I would try to find a new color, I would just start slowly digging them out, and I would end up having them all over my table, and then I'd finally find the color, and then I'd just shove them all back in. So I actually have them organized now. I'm very happy with that. So whenever I need a color, I just either, if I don't find it in my regular storage containers, then I have this to look for. And I also have been slowly working on a Excel sheet. I'm going to try to put all the colors in there, and then if they are currently with a project, like if one is currently with the dragon, I will have it marked that that bobbin is with my dragon at the time, so that way if I'm working on something else that I need that color, I know where that bobbin is without have to dig out the project and dig out, like, see what colors it uses and everything. So trying to be a bit more organized. It's very slowly working, but it has just been really nice, and like I said, I really like these stickers. They have been great. Something else that I have been kind of working on, actually, I'm going to show this first. So this is actually a pattern that I forgot that I bought. So last year, me and my husband went on vacation to Colorado for the first time, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It was probably one of the best vacations I've ever had. Seeing the mountains like that is unbelievable. And while we were there, we went to Estes Park, which is the home of the Stanley Hotel. If you haven't heard of the Stanley Hotel, that is the hotel where Stephen King got inspiration to write The Shining. And it is not where The Shining was filmed. but it was where the mini-series The Shining was filmed. Stephen King apparently did not like the movie adaptation at the time, and so he did his own mini-series and came in and revamped the hotel. He paid to get new wallpaper and stuff in it to make it a bit more creepy looking. And that same wallpaper and stuff is up today. We got to do 2 different tours of it. We did a day tour, and we actually got to see the outside of the room that Stephen King stayed in. Apparently you can book that room, and it's booked out for like 2 or 3 years. It's kind of crazy and insanely expensive, and I'm just like, it wouldn't be worth it to me. And we also got to do a ghost tour, because they have their own kind of ghost and spooky history, which I thought was really, really cool. I'm really into that whole like haunted history type thing. And while we were there, I found a cross-stitch shop. They actually have cross-stitch yarn and fabric for quilting. So it was a huge store. It was so downstairs there was a room full of nothing but the yarn, and then upstairs was where all the cross-stitch was. They also had like some needle felting and other kind of embroidery like things in that room. And then across the hallway they had the quilting room, which had all their quilt fabrics and everything. Like it was a crafter's like dream store. I absolutely loved it. I'll try to, the name isn't on the pattern, but I will try to look up the name of the store and put it in the description below, because if you're ever in the area, so worth going. So worth it. It was amazing. And I actually picked up this pattern. So this is kind of a pattern that I normally wouldn't do. It's more kind of like a vintagey pattern, but this is actually of the Stanley Hotel. And sorry, I'm a little shaky. But yeah, I saw this and I was like, this would be such a good keepsake to have from this trip, because, you know, we did tour the Stanley, and just being there in general, like, I was like, this is a good thing to have. So I have the pattern here, and I think, so they use kind of like an off-white background, and I have this, which maybe the camera's picking up, but I need to make sure that it is the right size and that it will fit. I think that it will. If I did my measurements correctly. I do want to double check it though. But this is kind of like a very, very light green. So I'd actually ordered this for another project, and I thought that it was going to be a little bit darker green and more noticeable, but it's very, very light. You can kind of see it in person. I think you can see it on camera. It's kind of hard to tell from here, but I think I'm going to use this to stitch this on. And I'm actually going to try to add at least the year, maybe the date of when we went on our trip to Estes Park, because I think that would be just really, really cool. I think it's a really keepsake to have over that trip. So, and last is not cross-stitch related, but if you've noticed in the background, I do a lot of sewing as well. I've sewn most of these plushies or crocheted them. If you want kind of like a plush tour, let me know, because I do have more that are not behind here, and I love making these. I actually need to make some more. I've got so much fabric over here and so many patterns of other things. I don't have the time to do everything I want to do. I have way too many projects. But I do, so I've made one quilt, and I've started working on another one. It's way over there. I was making some pumpkin squares. I actually started it not this past fall, but the fall before, and I got tired of making the because they're like patch block squares, and I just got tired of making them, and I kind of put it aside, and I picked it up a little bit here and there since, but it's been a while. But I don't know if you've seen the puff quilts, so I'm actually I'm going to be making them using this fabric. I've got a bunch of different colors here. Let me see if I can get it held up. So I'm actually making it, it's going to be kind of like an ombre color scheme. It's kind of hard to hold them all, but it'll start with the dark purple and fade into the light, and then go into the light blue and into the dark blue. And this one is mostly, so you sew all 3 sides, and then you start sewing them together, and you actually put polyfill stuffing in this, so it will actually be kind of raised up like that, and it'll have like a thickness to it. And I just think they're super cute, so I've started working on them. I've been sewing a lot of the blocks, but I only have one side sewn, so you have to get all 3 sides sewn on all the blocks. I've got, I don't remember the number, I have like a huge pile of blocks over here that I'll just sit at the sewing machine and put it on a podcast, or just listen to some music and just keep sewing and keep sewing and keep sewing and so on. And so I haven't picked this up in a little bit. I need to, I feel like all these videos are me just saying, well, I need to do this and I need to do that, and it hasn't happened yet. So next time I'll have progress on, like really good progress on something, I promise. But that is pretty much it. Yeah, I haven't been working on anything else. I did, which this is actually one of my magnets I already had. I went and got an extra magnet, and I'm using that as a needle minder for my Stardew Valley cross-stitch map, because I didn't have enough needle minders for all my projects now. So I was just like, this was on our fridge, so I took it off, and I'm using that as a needle minder. And yeah, so I believe that is about it for me. That's all my progress I've done so far. If you have enjoyed this, please let me know. Any support is appreciated. And I will see you guys next time. Hope you have a good day. Bye.